In this video tutorial for Toon Boom Harmony, I'm going to show you three of the other paint section tools: the Paint Unpainted, Repaint, and Unpaint. Now, before we get into that, just in case you're a little bit confused, if you see something like this where you have all of these little gray squares, that might be because you are on the color card that we created in a previous tutorial. Anytime you're on the color card, it's going to show that it's a color card by these repeating gray squares. So if you have that, just click on your whatever layer you're on. In this case, it's rainy day, and make sure you're clicked on the specific frame you want to be working on. Now, as far as these tools, I'm going to start with Unpaint since I already have all of this painted. And before I do that, actually, I'm going to make the color card disappear. So this gray background means there's nothing there. That's just the gray background of Toon Boom Harmony's default look when you have nothing painted. If you do Unpaint, it should make sense that you are removing the paint color from something as opposed to repaint. If I'm going to use the paint tool here and I could let's just do a green. So now I've painted it a different color, but instead what I want to do is unpaint it. With the unpaint tool, I click on it, it removes all of the paint, and now it is see-through. For the next tool, I'm going to show you what Paint Unpainted does. And of course, I could just click in there, but that would be the same as just clicking on the paint, of course. And if I was just on the paint tool and I do what I'm about to do, I'm going to click and drag. You'll see when I click and drag, you see that line that appears. If I click and drag all the way across, it paints everything that I have crossed over. The Paint Unpainted tool, what's going to happen is I'm going to click and drag across this outline through the center where there's no paint, and then across there. Whoosh. Now it has not changed the outline color because that was already painted. It was not unpainted as the tool dictates. This center area here was unpainted, so when I crossed it, it filled it in and painted it. And finally, we have Repaint. Now, Repaint, we have nothing in the center here once again. What it's going to do, it's going to paint anything that's already been painted. So when I click and drag across it, it's going to repaint just the sections that I touch. And as you can see here, that the hair, when we vectorized it in an earlier tutorial, it separated these into segments. So just these segments that were untouched before, and I could go across any of these segments and repaint just those. If this whole thing was filled with paint, oops, there we go. And I did the repaint, and then I crossed over with, let's say, blue. I'll do a different color here. Then it's just going to repaint everything that's already been painted. So that's the difference between Toon Boom Harmony's Paint Unpainted, Repaint, and Unpaint tools. Please subscribe. Please like.